M4 Sherman, the base machine. The story starts with the M4 Sherman because nearly every serious American mine-clearing tank idea in World War II grew out of this machine. The Sherman was the most widely used American tank of the war, with more than 50,000 produced between 1942 and 1945. It served in every major theater and, just as importantly, it was reliable enough to be repaired fast and modified for specialist roles. And that's why the Sherman mattered so much for mine-clearing work. America didn't need to invent a completely new tank every time it faced a battlefield problem. It could take an existing Sherman, bolt on a new system, and turn it into something built to survive mined ground. That flexibility is what made the Sherman dangerous, not just as a fighting tank, but as a platform that could keep changing to meet whatever the battlefield threw at it. T-1E3 Aunt Jemima. The most common American mine-clearing Sherman of the war was the T-1E3 Mine Exploder, better known by its nickname Aunt Jemima. And once you see it, you understand the nickname straight away. This thing carried a huge roller system out in front of the tank, built to detonate anti-tank mines before they could hit the vehicle itself. It was awkward-looking, heavy, and impossible to ignore, but that was exactly the point. Minefields were designed to stop an advance dead. The T-1E3 was designed to roll straight into that problem and force the ground to give up its secrets early. Instead of waiting for a Sherman to hit a buried charge under its tracks, the roller took that risk first. That changed everything, because once a lane was opened, the rest of the force could keep moving. And in wartime, movement is not a small advantage. It's the whole game. T10 Mine Exploder. If the T1E3 looked unusual, the T10 Mine Exploder looked downright bizarre. This American Sherman-based design is described as the T10 Mine Exploder, sometimes remembered for its huge wheel arrangement and strange silhouette. It looked less like a normal tank and more like something halfway between armor and industrial machinery, but the logic behind it was deadly serious. The idea was simple: put the mine-clearing load out in front, let the special running gear trigger the explosives first, and protect the main tank body from taking the full punishment. That kind of engineering tells you a lot about the American mindset in World War II. If the battlefield was killing tanks through the ground, then the answer was not just thicker armor. The answer was to change how the tank met the ground in the first place. That's what makes the T-10 memorable. It wasn't just a tank, it was an attempt to redesign the entire first point of contact between armor and danger, T-1E1 Earthworm. Then came the late-war T-1E1 Earthworm, another American Sherman family mine exploder concept associated with the M32B1 recovery-based chassis in search-documented Sherman variant listings. Even the name sounds mechanical and ugly, which honestly fits the job perfectly. This was not about speed or style. It was about brute contact with mined ground. Heavy roller discs, armored construction, and a design focused on surviving repeated punishment tell you exactly what the battlefield demanded by this stage of the war. No nonsense, no glamour, just a machine that could keep pressing into danger. The Earthworm feels like one of those classic late-war American solutions. Take a proven chassis, specialize it harder, and make it do one ugly job as efficiently as possible. That's what makes it interesting. It shows how American mine-clearing design was still evolving, still adapting, and still trying to turn the Sherman into a solution for ground that wanted to kill it. T-1E2 roller. The T-1E2 is one of those wartime American Sherman mine-clearing developments that doesn't get talked about much, but it matters because it shows the U.S. wasn't standing still. Sherman variant listings describe the T-1E2 as a roller-based mine exploder arrangement with twin forward units, another step in the American effort to refine how a tank could survive a mined route. And that's the key point. Mine clearing in World War II wasn't solved by one perfect design. It was trial, adjustment, testing, and then trying again. The T-1E2 represents that middle space, not the famous headline machine, but part of the engineering chain that kept pushing the idea forward. That matters in a script like this because it proves something bigger. American mine-clearing tanks were not one-off oddities. They were part of an active wartime design effort to make the Sherman more survivable, more useful, and more capable of forcing a route through deadly terrain. Sherman Dozer route-clearing Sherman. The last American machine in this story is the Sherman Dozer. Now, this wasn't a dedicated roller tank like the T-1E3 or T-10, but it absolutely belongs in the conversation because U.S. references on Sherman Dozer conversions describe them as vital for clearing obstacles, rubble, craters, and in some cases mines as part of route clearing work. And that's important because a mined battlefield was rarely just about mines. There were roadblocks, wrecks, debris, broken earth, and defensive clutter everywhere. A Sherman Dozer could physically reshape the route in front of it. of it. Push aside obstacles, clear damaged roads, open passage where ordinary armor would choke. That gave American forces something incredibly valuable. Not just protection from mines, but the ability to keep an advance alive when the battlefield turned messy. And in real war, messy is the rule, not the exception. So when you look at the deadliest American mine-clearing tanks of World War II, the real story is not about one perfect machine. It's about how the Sherman became the backbone of multiple mine-clearing solutions. The base M4 Sherman, the T1E3 Aunt Jemima, the strange but memorable T10 Mine Exploder, the late war Earthworm, the T1E2 roller development, and the Sherman Dozer helping force usable routes through broken ground. Each one attacked the same problem from a slightly different angle. How do you keep a tank moving when the ground itself is trying to destroy it? That was the challenge, and these American machines were some of the toughest answers the U.S. Army put forward in World War II. So now the question is simple. Which one do you think was the most effective? The T1E3, the T10, or the Sherman Dozer? Drop your pick in the comments.